Imagine. Imagine that you're a young girl that lives in a place like this. You start your period and you have no way of containing the flow. Imagine that the clothes that you're wearing right now are the only clothes you own. And you don't wear underwear because your family can't afford it. Your school has a toilet, but it's outside, down the road a piece. It's one building. It's got a hole in the floor. You can't close the door for privacy. And boys climb up over the walls to peer down at you and laugh. There's no water. Imagine, if you miss a day of school, you can't borrow someone's notes. You can't take a textbook home to read ahead. And you can't get after-school tutoring. So, you stay home, you drop out, you marry young, you start having babies, and the cycle of poverty continues. 9 years ago, I first heard about girls like this. I heard that they were using dung and banana leaves, they were using mud, plastic bags, dirty rags, old clothes, even digging a hole in the earth to sit in order to take care of their period. And none of those things could be held in place anyways because they didn't wear underwear. I was 58 years old. I had grown up in a clothing factory. I had worked in a design studio after college. I knew pattern making, I knew clothing construction. I knew I had some skills that could maybe change this situation that I was just hearing about. In short, I could do something or not. Not exactly the crossroads I was thinking about at this time in my life. But I was mind-boggled by the fact that half the population bleeds, and yet millions of women and girls had no way of dealing with their period. Why didn't I know this? And how could I not do something about it? So I started the MoonCatcher project. All over the world, people use crazy expressions to talk about their period. There's thousands of them. There's things like, Aunt Flo has come to visit, I'm cursed, I'm on the rag, Shark Week, and my personal favorite, which is, I'm on my moon. Because periods, like the moon, repeat on average every 28 days. And I wanted to design something to catch that moon, something that would be environmentally friendly, would be comfortable, easy to use, and something that could be worn without underwear. So I enlisted the services of my then teenage daughter, having stopped bleeding myself by then. And together we pored over designs of leaking, bunching, chafing pads until we came up with a design that was comfortable, absorbent, easy to use, easy to take care of, and could be worn without underwear. We laughed a lot. I mean, who does this? It's not something that most of us look at, bloody pads, especially with our daughters. But what we like to say is we took mother-daughter bonding to a whole new level. But I also wanted to talk about menstruation. I'd had it with the shame and the embarrassment that girls feel about their period. I wanted to say the word menstruation out loud. I wanted to use the right words, and I wanted to get rid of the secrecy. See, I see it as a political issue. I see our behavior about how we deal with periods as a way of keeping girls down, as a way of oppressing women. And we need to lift them up. We need to change this. Do you know that in Nepal, girls are sent out of their homes to little huts, usually so small you can't even stand up in them. And the belief is that if they stay in the house and they touch food or touch somebody there, that they could be directly responsible for that person getting sick and possibly even dying. Girls die of smoke inhalation in these little huts. Because they're so cold at night, they'll start a fire. In Pakistan, girls are told, don't eat meat, don't eat eggs, and don't wash yourself during your period. Now, this is the one time of the month when a little extra protein is a pretty good idea, and a little extra care about hygiene is essential. But we're not much better here. Here, girls hide their menstrual supplies when they go to the bathroom for fear that maybe even another girl will see that they're bleeding. We tax tampons and pads, and you can't buy these supplies with food stamps. What's wrong with this picture? So the newly formed MoonCatcher board decided that we would do whatever we could to address this problem. We decided that we would give, for free, reusable, washable menstrual kits, like you see here, to girls throughout the world who are living in poverty. And here at home, we would collect disposable menstrual supplies for girls here that were also missing school and often dropping out. We asked everybody we knew to help. We sent out emails to everyone. We asked them to come and make our pads with us. And men, women, and children showed up in droves with sewing machines and ironing boards and scissors and other sewing supplies. And we cut and sewed and packed kits that would go to the more than 18 countries that we serve. It was amazing. But we also wanted to support the women in those countries. So we started sewing cooperatives. Some of these cooperatives are in places like this, little garages or small buildings. And these women are able to get employment from us. They're paid to make these kits so that they can make a living and take care of their families. And we also decided we would buy as many of our supplies as possible from the nations that we work in so that we would support their economy. But mostly we wanted to keep girls in school. We wanted to make it possible for them to understand what was going on with their body, why they get their period, and we taught them how to plot their cycle so they could come to school ready with a kit so they could be there every day. We not only had a girls' curriculum, but we also developed a boys' curriculum so that those boys that were looking up over that wall at those girls would become part of the solution rather than part of the problem. We talked to girls about their hopes and dreams. We wanted them to see the connection between what they want to do in their life and getting an education so that it would be possible for them to fulfill their dreams. We know that when a girl completes high school, it's much more likely that she'll marry later, have fewer children, and become financially independent. And she'll teach the children that she chooses to have the importance of education too. The World Bank, UNICEF, lots of other prestigious organizations tell us that the key to tackling global poverty is through the education of girls. So we've been giving these kits out to girls for years now. We get feedback from them about how it changes our lives. Do you know that the only blood that flows that has nothing to do with violence is menstrual blood? Think about it. Even a scraped knee is the result of an accident. When a surgeon cuts into you to repair something, he's cutting into you. The blood of war is always violent. And even that lovely piece of rare roast beef swimming in its own blood on your dinner plate is a result of the slaughter of an animal. But we talk about all that. We don't have any problem talking about it. It's easy for us. It's everyday conversation. It's dinner conversation. But menstrual blood? Why is something that happens every month, it's a natural biological occurrence, why are we so scared by that? I'm not sure what it is. We fear something about females. We fear something about lifting them up and listening to their voices. It's essential that we do this. We need to get those girls out of those huts. We need to hear their voices and use their talents. We need their gifts to help move our world forward. We need to make it possible for them to participate in their lives and the lives of their communities every day of the month, every day of the year. Go home tonight. Say the word menstruation out loud, at least once, preferably in mixed company. I promise you'll be okay. And you'll move the world forward just a little bit more. And you'll help change the life of a girl. Thank you.